let's meet Honorable Mr. Bert Martin, is a founder and the managing director at the Neuro Merchandising, which sounds really tricky and exciting. All right, so let's go for it. And he is an expert in the field of neuroleadership. I guess that we've been cross-connecting some messages through social media with him, and I'm so excited to have this great expert on panel. Mr. Bird is going to help us have a better grasp on neuroleadership, as everything we do with our whole heart, or we don't do it at all. Just passion is everything, apparently. So you would just open new windows in front of all of us to have a better grasp on the general thing that you're going to, portray here. Thank you very much for volunteering. Volunteers are always winners. Okay, let's go, sir. I know that you were further in the schedule, but you volunteered to just come in advance. Thank you so much. All ears.
Yes. Dr. Nami and Dr. Fatime, thank you very much for having me. It's a great pleasure. I hope you can hear me. I open the charts in a second. I do not believe in coincidence, by the way. So I think, this is what happens. Things are happening. And I'm very happy to have my presentation here because I believe it might be a little bit different. Hopefully you can see my slides. I have some bold statements in the beginning. First of all, I would like to say that I believe that the future of business is human. Or there is no business, or there is no future. In my eyes, I believe that better humanity means better business. And when we talk about humanity, especially in the business field, we are always tend to say, oh, Bert, come on. This is romantic. You are much too romantic. And I would like to prove that it is not. We are talking about emerging tech tools towards neuroscientists. We are talking about collecting brain signals. We are talking about better understanding human beings. How reality enters our mind. Why do we think the way we think? Why do we feel the way we feel? And most or foremost, as a business guy, I would like to better understand why people behave the way they behave. And therefore, I want to come back to this statement. I think we need to have a better understanding about humans in order to unlock what is inside, and therefore probably a very, very brief introduction. My background is I'm an economist, and my background is the traditional fast-moving consumer good industry. And we always wanted to understand, why do people say something and behave differently? I spent more than a decade in the corporate world at Nestle and Procter & Gamble before I became independent entrepreneur with a great team. And you know what? I was always dealing with this idea of better understanding humans. And 12 years ago, I started my academic work in the field of neuroscientist and evolutionary biologist and positive psychologist, just in order to better understand what's really going on. And next to my business side, I always like to say, mainly we are humans. And I believe, traveling around the world, humans have more similarities than differences. If you would only accept the idea that every customer, every employee, every boss, every kind person, every unkind person is a human being, it would help a lot. And therefore, I'd like to introduce myself a little bit more on this personal side. I can tell you I'm a human, and that makes us so how can I say that, so similar in a certain way. And when I take a deeper look into the evolutionary biologist, I learned that we are connected to each other in a certain sense. We are kind of cousins. Imagine everybody is your cousin. And here I would like to say, welcome family to all of our attendants and participants. And this is beautiful. And I'm a husband, and I think this is also something we have to mention, that probably we have to see that life is not only about achieving things in the business or in your careers. And I ask myself from time to time, what is more challenging? Success in the family or success in business? Each depend on each other. This is my deep belief. And therefore, I also want to say that we are happy parents of 4 now adult children. And this guy, Bert Onemüller, is still crazy enough to believe that there are better ways to do businesses. And when I take a close look into our society, I speak about the German-speaking society. My office is here in Frankfurt, so I come to you from Germany, and I can tell you we have too much suffering which is caused by labor conditions. And this is stupid. This is pure stupidity. Everybody as an entrepreneur should understand that it does not make a lot of sense, to destroy the value what you have. And the key value what everybody has in the business world is mainly the employees. Also, we talk about a lot of technical devices. For me, tech is beautiful. Tech is great. Tech is a beautiful servant, but from time to time, probably a dangerous master. The figure means 28% of the people in Germany suffer from labor conditions, which is expressed probably, Dr. Nami, this is potential clientele for you, because this suffering causes sleep disorders, burnout, depression. This costs us 147 billion euros every year. Imagine we could invest this money differently. I have a name for that. I call that suffering the no heart syndrome. We cut off our heart and we want to manage and how can I say that? We want to master the challenges of our lives through our intellect, which is, in my deep understanding or in my belief, not possible. I believe, therefore, that there must be always better ways in doing business, better ways for business, better ways for the society. And I'm a little bit in love with this little chart, because this is something I learned from quantum physicists. And this is a little miracle. And this is a little kind of magic. Imagine we could look differently into the world. Imagine we could look differently on things. Suddenly, things would change. Isn't it magic? Sometimes I think this sounds a little bit like Harry Potter. You have this magic stick. And what I want to say with that, this is what we have to, I don't want to say we have to convince anybody. I like to say we have to remember who we are. We have to remember how reality comes into our mind. We have to use all the insights of the science, of the medicine, of the neuroscience, of the evolutionary biology in order to better understand human behavior and our own behavior. And once I realized that my perception depends on my, let me call it, biochemical state, which is again a result of my emotional state, I remember that my perception is a very subjective perception. Everybody is waiting for somebody in order that change should happen. But, after trial and error, after exploring the world of the science, the world of the philosophies, and the world of the real business, I can tell you this is not possible. The only thing we can do is change ourselves in order to change something from the outside. And this is not new. My grandma told me that, and Mahatma Gandhi told me that. Let's be the change we want to see in the world. And what I would like to contribute in this little conference is, let's use insights from academia. Let's use insights from neuroscience, from all the scientific areas, in order to help better understanding how reality comes into my own mind. And we all are very much aware about what I just said. If I am in a bad biochemical state, I cannot perform. I cannot unlock what is really inside. When it comes to leadership or managing or leading people, I always like this picture or this image of a gardener. And therefore, I like to say a good leader is somebody like a good gardener. A good gardener knows what kind of garden do I want to have and what do I need in order to make my plants grow. Some plants need more shade, some plants need more sun, some plants need more water. You know what I want to say with them. And once again, my belief is there has to be, and we need better ways, and there are better ways in business, but the precondition to find a better way is to start from within. Change the perspective. As a little joke on the side, I always like to say, when I have a conversation with my wife, I'm always like to say, honey, do you want to be right? Or do you want to have a happy life? You know what I want to say? Do you want to be right, or do you want to be successful when we talk about business? And and this is the beauty. I am not alone in this field. I'm not alone, and I have very, very powerful and influential partners or teammates or fellow journalists, or you name them. And I was very, very happy when I heard from Mrs. Shafiq, who is the director of the London School of Economics. You know what she said, and this is exactly what I want to talk about. In the past, jobs were about muscles. Now, exactly now, 2022, probably it's still about brains, but the future begins tomorrow, on the 1st of May, if I may say that, is the future of business is the business about the heart. And and therefore I'd like to introduce, from my standpoint, one of the most significant biosignals. And I believe the most significant biosignal is the signal you receive from your heart. So within the last, if I can say that, within the last 12 months, I refocused my work very much based on the insights of heart knowledge, hard science, coming from great people who are doctors and doing great surgeries. I'm also an, how can I say that, great fan of the Heart Math Institute in the US. And what I learned already a lot of years ago from the neuroscientist is that we can measure the emotional arousal when we take a look to the so-called heart rate variability. And whenever your heart rate variability becomes incoherent, what you see in the red picture, you're just starting to lose your performance. Because I would say it in my simple words, because your system shifts into the survival mode. And survival mode is the result of frustration, anxieties, worries, and everything like that. And you can measure that. And the big thing is, I want to remind us that, the heart, there are probably more data strings from the heart to the head than the other way around. And therefore, I'd like to say probably we can use, or we can widen our scope, or probably we're already doing that, even for this event here, to take a deeper look to
Sir,
this.
Mr. Bert Martin, sorry to cut you, sir,
Yeah.
sorry to interrupt, but we can listen to this for hours because what you say is totally salient and makes a ton of sense. And this is brilliant, but time is never enough, right? So we got like 2 minutes. If you would be kind enough to wrap it up, that'd be awesome. Thank you. Thank you for understanding.
Thank you. I'm absolutely, great for this advice, and we are on the final charts already. So what I want to say is that let's take a look to this. And this, I'm coming back to my idea of the speech. I want to say that we should listen more to our heart. We should leave the head and enter the heart. We should come from hard work into hard work. And I would like to invite all of you, whatever you do it with your whole heart or don't do it at all. And with that, I would like to say thank you for your patience. I would like to welcome you to the decade of humanity. And I would like to say you can get a lot more insights if you want to. I have a little surprise. I'm also cooperating with Omid and DCG Lab, and you will find the slides and you can get a beautiful surprise if you want to. So once again, thank you very much for the advice, and thank you for having me, Dr. Nami.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the, absolutely. Thank you so much for the precious contribution, Mr. Bert Martin, and this has been fascinating. Very good. And yeah, the thing that you were just highlighting, they're very clear in terms of human relationships, so people skills. And that is about how we are getting along with all the hassles and challenges in our people skills. And that's all about the communication. And you were totally right that we are in the context now in the global, ecosystem to be building up some new capacities and strength in developing brain-friendly leaders. Okay, so the other thing is how business and leadership and humanity are cross-connected. So it's all about the humanity. So when we talk about the people, human beings, instead of saying human being, as you beautifully pointed out, we better say social beings. Instead of saying social beings, we'd better say emotional beings, right? And that's the brain heart, axis, how emotion, how the central nervous system and autonomic nervous system are just interdigitated, and they are going hand in hand when we regulate our emotions and cognition. Very beautiful talk, very resonant, and appreciate that a lot. So as Mr. Martin was highlighting, we got I'm sorry for that. Excuse me. Oh God. We're good. Yeah. Okay. So as Dr. Martin said, as Mr. Martin pointed out, we need to have a well-balanced, a coordination between our cognition, emotion, behavior, motor, and sensory, if that makes a good sense. So these 5 main pillars are kind of defining our functionality. So no matter what context we're tapping into, whether it relates to sports, we have neurosport because we talk about the brain and all the ways end up to the Rome, right? So we talk about brain. So whatsoever the causes, whatsoever the context is, brain is playing the main part. And so, yeah, neuroleadership, beautiful. Then we have neurosport. We might be talking about neuroeconomy. We might be talking about, neuroeducation, you name it. But the heart of the matter here is that whatever we're tapping into, what we're heading for, we're going for betterment of the quality of life of the people. We're taking the science and technology from labs to the society, to the people, dinner table, to the factories, to the organizational culture, to productivity, to personal effectiveness, so science and technology is going to be for human, as you said very beautifully. And to do this, the lifeblood of doing research is data. So if we want to capture and acquire data at the laboratory concept, we got to have a very clear roadmap in front of us. So before going to the lab, we should take it down. We should make a very good idea, jot down on the paper, which is called the grant writing, or which is called a proposal. So grant writing is not easy stuff. And we kind of confident, and we're determined that together we might be providing some courses for grant writing skills. So the people who would be interested under the umbrella of Zarela and Harvard Alumni for Mental Health, we might be able, hopefully, together with you, to develop some grant writing courses. And when I'm equipped with the skills that I need, then I can write grants. Okay, so the grant is done, and the grant proposal is submitted to a university, governmental, non-governmental. Then I'm bump into a wall because they are not paying me, they are not funding me for it. So I know how to write a grant, but they don't know how to pay me for it. They don't know how to fund me, how to support me. They don't have the passion. They don't have the clear understanding about that. So that's why we at Zarela, we at this community of expert, forum, we're right here to help the scientists to get rid of those obstacles, and let's do it together. So after we're writing the grants, we might be, grasping the opportunity to get some crypto finance financial support in a form of tokens, in a form of cryptocurrencies. Some of us might be familiar with Biobit or any other kind of cryptocurrency token. So it's already available there. And then when the support is there, then I have peace of mind and I can do research. It might be on neuroleadership, it might be a neurosport or whatever that we are interested about.